Hi, everyone, and very welcome to today's webinar, where we'll talk about data cataloging and why it's essential for your analytics modernization and initiatives. My name is Karen Westland, and I'm here today with Helen Kinsella. Before we dive in, I'd like to mention that if you have questions along the way, please type them into the Ask a Question box that you can see on your screen, and we will answer them towards the end of the session. So with that, I'd like to thank today's speaker for joining us and taking us through the next 20-30 minutes or so. Thank you, Helen. The stage is yours.
Thanks, Karen. So hello, everybody. As Karen said, my name is Helen Kinsella, and I'm a data governance product specialist with Informatica. I've been with Informatica for a long time, almost 15 years now, working with organizations on data governance and data quality initiatives. And I'm based in the EMEA headquarters in Dublin, Ireland. So today I will discuss the benefits of the data catalog in the context of analytics modernization. I'm going to explain how the data catalog will accelerate your modernization initiative and increase productivity for your analytics solution. And I'll demonstrate the Informatica Enterprise Catalog user interface. So as Karen said, I'll go through the presentation and then we'll have questions at the end. So analytics is critically important to organizations. Business decisions are made based on these analytics. Consider the Peter Drucker quote, "If you can't measure it, you can't improve it." So organizations need to know, are they going in the right direction? Are they going fast enough? Or is it time for change? And these decisions are based on analytics. In the past, organizations have typically had a relational enterprise data warehouse, which provides the universe of data for analytics and reporting. But this solution has come under pressure in recent times. And why is this? Well, there has been an explosion in data volumes, a myriad of new data types, and a host of cloud applications. I'm sure you've seen this in your organizations, and we've certainly seen this in Informatica. And add to that, competitive pressures are forcing the business to be faster and more nimble. Business users are demanding more agility and the ability for self-service. Data democratization and collaboration must be supported. Informatica Enterprise Data Catalog will help you catalog all your technical assets, whether they're structured, unstructured, across your cloud, on-premise, big data environments. And using artificial intelligence, Enterprise Data Catalog automatically classifies assets and shows relationships between assets, and in this way reduces manual effort. EDC also provides business definitions and allows you to visualize your data flows. So all of this we'll dig into more detail as we go on, and you'll see in the demo flow as we go through it. Informatica Enterprise Data Catalog automatically scans metadata from enterprise data assets from all of these systems, making them available for business and IT users. So you can see we can scan traditional relational databases, but also unstructured documents like Excel and PowerPoint, also big data environments, a host of cloud platforms, and of course our Informatica technologies. In summary, Enterprise Data Catalog leverages the CLAIRE artificial intelligence engine to catalog all your enterprise data, give you an understanding and insight into your data, and using collaborative features, share your knowledge with others. So let's look at the benefits of a data catalog. Imagine when you start your change program, how valuable would it be to have an enterprise view of your existing data landscape? The data catalog provides you with an asset inventory. Where are all your sources today? What are the existing analytics reports in use today? Imagine if you could clearly understand how your assets relate to one another. The data catalog will help you visualize relationships between your assets. You can see what tables have key relationships, who are the owners and stewards, and what classification groups do the assets fall into. Imagine having a clear understanding of your existing data flows. Imagine the power of understanding the impact of changes when implementing your change program. All of this information allows you to plan and prioritize. For these reasons, the data catalog view of your enterprise metadata will accelerate the implementation of your analytics platform. Let's look at the analytics business users. The catalog provides a Google-like search on existing data assets. Think of this like an Amazon catalog where your business users can shop for relevant reports and data sources. This empowers your business users to discover assets relevant to them. Maybe someone in another department has already created a relevant business report that can be reused. Why reinvent the wheel? It's more productive to collaborate and share business knowledge. For business alignment, a shared understanding of business metrics and KPIs is essential. I've spoken to many organizations over the last number of years who explain that a business report with a risk metric or risk KPI of 50% is only meaningful if there's a shared definition of risk. Otherwise, people are making assumptions. And finally, trust and lineage. Think of the food we eat or the medicines we take. Do you trust the origin and the content? If you don't trust the origin, you'll avoid using and shop somewhere else. Similarly, what is the point of untrusted or unused analytics? Or worse still, what's the impact of fake news, where incorrect data is flowing into the report? Imagine the power of providing your business users with a window into the origin of the report metrics. Business users could be certain where the data is coming from and how the calculations are made. Imagine being able to show regulators the lineage of regulatory reports. In fact, it's essential to provide evidence that the reports are accurate. For these reasons, Informatica Enterprise Data Catalog will increase the productivity of your business users. They'll have access to trusted reports, be able to find data for new reports, and align on shared business definitions. So I'm now going to bring you through a demo where you'll see the catalog itself, and you'll see it also in the context of a Tableau report user. I'm going to walk through a number of demo scenarios. Let's start from an analytic report. In this case, a Tableau customer order report. We have an EDC plugin for Tableau, which gives the user a direct window into the catalog. The Tableau user can quickly see catalog information relevant to the active dashboard. They can see what is the business description. Here we can see the report relates to order information in EMEA. We can see how this report relates to business classifications. In this case, this report is classified as containing contact data and data from a number of countries. And we can see the business and technical owners. If we have queries on the report, we know who to collaborate with. And we can see the list of sources feeding this report. Now, wouldn't it be very powerful if this business user could quickly view the detailed lineage of the report? How exactly were the metrics calculated? Let's click on the lineage icon to give them a view into the lineage in the Enterprise Data Catalog. This link opens up Enterprise Data Catalog. It brings us to the customer orders report asset. The summary lineage is displayed, showing the 4 tables feeding the customer orders report. Let's expand the lineage to show all the detailed steps. And let's expand the report metadata to see the individual metrics. So here you can see the step-by-step lineage flow. You can hover over each step to see the asset details. For example, the Hermes CRM asset is a Microsoft SQL Server resource. And we can zoom in to parts of this lineage to see more details. Here we can see that sum orders is calculated from quantity and unit price. But how is the calculation made? Imagine if we could get down to an even more precise level of detail. We can do this. Let's click on the transformation icon shown here to drill down even further. So we can see the lineage flow is now overlaid with a number of circles. Each circle indicates there's a detailed transformation mapping behind it. It could be an Informatica flow, or it could be a Microsoft SSIS flow, for example. We're interested in the sum order calculation. Let's click on the circle to drill into that transformation logic. You can see the mapping includes the aggregator transformation, and we can see the aggregation details. We can see the sum order is calculated by multiplying unit price by quantity. So this is as expected. In addition to the lineage of the report, we can click the Relationships tab to see how this report relates to other tables, glossary definitions, and users. So these users could be data stewards, business owners, and so on. So we're seeing the asset, we can see information about it, its lineage, and its relationships. Let's go back to the Tableau report and drill into one of the worksheets, order by customer. We notice that full name is not populated correctly. We could investigate why this is the case using Enterprise Data Catalog. So we can see that full name has a lot of first names, a lot of single values. It doesn't have the first name and last name as we expect. We can see the full name is being read from the last name field in the customer details table in the Hermes CRM system. We can click on it to drill down into last name and see more details in this source. Here, EDC shows a list of values for last name. The reason you can see this is EDC, as it scans the sources in, it also profiles the sources, and hence we can see this level of information. We can see several instances of first names and titles, and this tells us that the issue that's occurring in the report is because of bad data in the source. It's flowing through from the source table. Notice EDC also suggests columns in other tables with similar information. The report user could drill down on these and investigate if full name had better quality in one of these alternative sources, perhaps customer cleansed. So in this way, you're allowing the business user to self-service and analyze the sources themselves. In this case, the business user wants to raise the issue to the owners. Let's go back to the order by customer asset to find out who the technical owner of this report is. So we can see Robert and Romero are the responsible technical owners. The business user now knows who to raise the issue with and who to collaborate to get this resolved. We also talked at the beginning about alignment and a shared understanding of business terms. From Tableau, the user can search for a term. So in this case, we're searching for full name. And EDC will return the business definition, the glossary definition, shown here, along with all of the assets linked to this glossary definition. You can click full name to drill down further and see the information being pulled through from EDC. So we can see the shared business definition. So it's straightforward in this case. And we can see the list of related technical assets related to this term. So in this way, as you look at a report, if there's any terms that are not clear, you can quickly search for them in the Enterprise Data Catalog, get a view of them, get the definition, and see what other assets they're also related to. Let's recap what you've seen so far. You've seen how the report user can easily find assets in EDC, understand how those assets relate to each other, and visualize the lineage and impact analysis. Now we're going to take another use case. We're going to look at how EDC can automatically classify your data assets. In this case, we're going to start from the EDC interface itself. So this is Enterprise Data Catalog. It provides a Google-like search interface. And let's consider an architect in the change management department who wants to understand where personally identifiable information is stored. So here we're going to search for PII. When EDC scans the catalog, the Claire AI engine automatically classifies the data. And these automatic classifications are known as data domains. EDC comes with out-of-the-box data domains like PII, but you can also add your own domain classifications. Now, in this case, EDC found 42 assets related to PII. We can narrow this search down using the filters on the left-hand side. In this case, we're going to filter purely on data domains related to PII. Let's click the PII group domain to open. And we can see that within this group, there is a list of individual classifications. Let's drill down on the credit card domain classification. Here we can see the technical columns automatically classified as credit card data. For example, we have a field 14, which has been classified as containing credit card information. Let's drill down to understand why this is the case. EDC shows the list of values for field 14, and you can see that it contains credit card details. Now, the benefit is that although the column name wasn't obvious, EDC profiled the data values, and in this way was able to understand that the values in this column looked like credit card information. So there is huge benefit to the catalog being able to automatically classify your data and identify these type of domains. So PII is just one type of domain, but there could be others related to your business. And it saves a lot of manual effort. To summarize, you've seen how the report user can find assets in EDC, look at the relationships, visualize lineage, and we've also had a look at how EDC automatically classifies data assets. Let's take a quick look at a couple of customer examples. A large global automotive customer is using Enterprise Data Catalog to get a complete view of enterprise data assets. And this is supporting analytics right across their value chain. Another example is a large shipping company who accelerated their move to the cloud in order to modernize their analytics infrastructure and also accelerate a cyber attack solution initiative. To do this, they implemented Informatica Enterprise Data Catalog to help them prioritize which data they needed to move to the cloud and to simplify their data management organization. So at this case, I'm going to move to look at the questions, and I'm just reading down through them now. I see there's quite a few of them. Okay, so does EDC have country-wise and sector-wise data domains for classifications? Yes, EDC comes with an out-of-the-box list of these data domains, and we have ones on a per-country level. And as I mentioned, then you can also add, so when you talk about sector-wise, that could be something more bespoke or more individual. You can also augment that library and start to build up your own library of rules as well. Another question is the plugin only on Chrome for Tableau? Will this be expanded to other browsers and to other reporting tools? Actually, it's only available on Chrome, and I'm not sure. That is something I'd need to check if there's plans to extend it. It is built using REST APIs. So these are public REST APIs that are available if you wanted to build your own plugin with another tool. And I know that there's plans to expand from Tableau into other reporting tools initiatives. Okay, so mark that one as answered. Do you have a similar plugin for SAP Business Objects? So we don't have an out-of-the-box one, but we do have these published REST APIs, very extensive, which would allow for building of your own custom plugin similar to what you've seen. And otherwise, the business users can also go in and directly search the interface, the EDC interface directly. So the benefit, obviously, of the plugin is they're getting that view directly from the report itself. There's another question, does it support the relation between technical metadata and business metadata? So yes, it does. So there's a number of ways to do this. We've talked about the business definitions, that they can be aligned to the various technical assets. Informatica also stores business metadata, which could be details about policies, maybe regulatory policies, high-level processes, and so on. So more business metadata, and this can be linked to this enterprise catalog data. So I think to see that in detail would be a follow-up, and I know at the end we'll talk about how you can follow up to see, maybe dig into that in more detail. There's another question, is it possible to read inside stored procedures in Netezza or Teradata to find out what operations were done to finally generate the report, files, and column? So I would say, of course, this is not easy because stored procedures are not relational. But yes, we have connectors for this, and this is something we've done with other customers. Another question, can EDC crawl through websites and collect business terms, and how definition is maintained over its life cycle if the definition is changed by a third party? So EDC would not crawl through websites. Our glossary tool, how we onboard glossary definitions is we can onboard them in two ways. One is by bulk uploading from a spreadsheet. Actually, I should say three ways. Bulk uploading from a spreadsheet, manually entering the glossary definition, but also we can ingest via REST APIs. So while we provide those REST APIs for ingestion, then the rest would be up to you in terms of, synchronizing with an external website, for example. Does it store the age of data? From our perspective, if the metadata is there giving the age, and so for example, for a table, if there's tables that indicate the age of the data, then we can scan those in. It would have to be available for us to scan in order to see that. Okay. Another question, is this able to link to SSIS or IBM data stage or Spark to decode what processing is done on data? So if 5 columns went through 6 different kind of transformations, that it would see that. And yes, we can drill down to Microsoft SSIS. And for IBM data stage, I'm going to quickly ask, for IBM, I'm going to check with a colleague online to see if he knows. 1 second. Okay, so we've quite a number of questions. So another question that people are asking is, are there collaboration features built into EDC? So yes, and the March release for 10.2.2 has strengthened these. So we've added user ratings where users can rate the data sets, and they can also add star ratings like TripAdvisor. And they can also raise question and answer threads to collaborate directly on the asset. And we allow them to filter then, so you could look for only certified data sets or certified assets. So my colleague has just gone back about IBM data stage. So drilling down to transformation level for IBM is on the roadmap. We have it for Informatica and for Microsoft SSIS currently. Another thing worth mentioning is, and some of the questions relate to it, is that change notifications. So if a resource or data set, something changed, a column was added, so these will be supported from our March release. So users will be able to follow a resource and then get notified of the change, either in the application or by email. Okay, I see some people had problems with sound. Karen, were you able to hear me all the way through?
Yes, I was. It seems to be not across the board, but for some people, unfortunately.
And will the recording be available afterwards for people who have
Yes.
problems with sound?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So are you happy to take a few more questions or?
Yes, I'm just looking through. There's some that are repeating. So I'm just looking through the ones I've answered. Is Informatica data quality integrated with EDC? Yes, we can scan the Informatica data quality repository. We can scan, of course, the Power Center one, and we can scan the big data, Informatica big data repositories. What are the various hosting options of EDC? So EDC can be deployed, of course, on an on-premise Linux environment, but also it can be hosted on Amazon AWS or Microsoft Azure. Somebody is asking about, do we have a connector to extract from SAP Business Objects? And let me quickly, I believe that we do. I'm just going to quickly check our list. Bear with me 1 second while I look through SAP. Yes, we do. Yes, we can scan those directly. So I'm just reading some more of the questions. Does EDC also maintain data as well? If yes, where is the data maintained? So EDC is primarily to catalog your metadata. The only place we look at data is because we do profiling, we would store the values. We just store, for example, if it was an email column, we store a summary of the values in the email column. So there's no context, you don't see the full record, and this data is maintained in the Informatica repository. can EDC integrate with third-party metadata repositories? So the integration with third parties outside of our list of data is through the REST APIs that we provide. And just to mention on the previous question, for profiling, we profile sample data and it's encrypted in the database to keep it secure. Okay, so just reading through, just making sure I've answered. How do you visualize spatial data points and polygons? So I don't believe that's something EDC does. EDC is more, the visualizations that we have, as I showed, was around the relationships and around the lineage flows and the impact analysis. Is there a role structure in EDC for security reasons? For example, not everyone can find finance info. Yes, through the administrator interface, you can manage users and groups. And for a resource, you can say it's available to only particular users or particular groups, or it's available to everyone. And we also integrate with LDAP, and we can pick up the user profiles from there. Can the user search by data value? If yes, where is the data index maintained? That's a question for my colleague. I believe we search more on the metadata than the data itself. Let me just pass that one to my colleague and give me a moment to see if he comes back. But generally, it's more focused on the metadata. Yeah, so he's confirmed, no, we don't search by data value. Okay. I think I've answered most of them. Does EDC support versioning of metadata changes? If yes, can the user steward roll back to a previous version? So that's not something we have available as yet. You always see the latest version of the scan, and you can get notified of changes as you scan the data in. What big data components can it track or collect from? So let me just quickly call out the list of big data components. Hive, so there's various versions, HD Insight, EMR, MapReduce, HW, Cloudera, CDH, also HDFS, Hortonworks Atlas, Cloudera Navigator. Okay, so I'm just checking. My colleague has just prompted me that there's additional feature coming in the March release. So I'm just checking which one he wants me to mention. The change history. Okay, yes, the change history is coming and notification in the release coming out this March. How is this different than Informatica metadata management? So traditionally, Informatica Metadata Manager was built for Power Center users to understand the impact of changes and also manage the glossary of definitions. So it was very much from the perspective of Power Center and loading data warehouses. And we felt over the last number of years that there was a need to expand beyond Power Center into the whole enterprise, especially with the data governance and the analytics initiatives that we were seeing. And so Enterprise Data Catalog, I would say, is the next generation product for Informatica Metadata Manager. And it's not just thinking about Informatica, it's thinking about the enterprise. And it's architected, it has a big data architecture behind it to deal with scale. So we have customers that have scanned up to 50 million assets into this catalogue and to deal with that type of scale. Can we customize the metadata model in EDC if we wanted to collect additional metadata columns? That will be possible. So Jean-Philippe, if you're listening, you can ping me the answer. I know we can create custom connectors altogether. Whether we can extend our existing connectors, I'm just checking for you. Just bear with me. But certainly I know that for where we don't have a scanner, we have the ability to create custom scanners, and there it's completely customized metadata. So yes, my colleague is just confirming that yes, we can extend the existing connectors to handle additional metadata columns. Somebody is asking, how can conflict resolution be handled if two terms of the same definition? So I'm not quite sure, is that at the glossary level or where we've tagged it? But of course we can search for those terms and manually resolve them, and we can create reports about these duplication. Are there any limitations on the number of data assets it can catalog? Like Azure Data Catalog has some current limitations. No, there is no limitations. And in fact, I was listening to a webinar by our product manager, and he mentioned that the largest existing customer that we have has scanned 100 million assets. Now, I presume they're down to column level into EDC, but yes, there's no inherent limit. Somebody has asked, what is the ML aspect of EDC? Now, I'm not sure what ML refers to. Let me just see.
Machine learning.
Machine learning, okay. What is the machine learning? Could you shed some light on it? So the machine learning is around the rules, so classifying in the data domains uses some machine learning, and also the similarity. So looking across tables to identify similar data. So these are the areas where it's automating, helping you to automatically classify data and detect similarities. Somebody has asked, what's the USP against, say, Waterline or Elation or IBM? So one of the things Informatica has a tradition in, and coming from the metadata world, was the breadth of connectivity. So having the breadth of scanners, being able to natively scan things into the catalogue. And then also we focused strongly on, and you can see in our March release, really improving the collaboration features. So that's a competitive gap we are hoping to close. And we would also feel that our ability to integrate with our Axon, which is our data governance for more business information, that we really have the breadth of capabilities across what's required for both business and technical metadata. Somebody has asked, will the Informatica Metadata Manager be merged with EDC? I would say there's no plans for that. We do have customers that are using Metadata Manager for impact analysis within their Power Center projects. And that use case, it meets that use case and it will live on for that use case. But really, where we look at broader analytics projects, data governance projects for new customers, we would be positioning EDC. Okay, so I'm just reading through all the
Great.
questions. I think I've answered most of them. Okay. Yeah, I think, Karen, we'll wrap up there, or I'll hand back to you to maybe talk about where to get more information.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you everyone for all the questions, and thank you, Helen. So we do have some more information available in terms of data sheets and other assets that you can access. You will find those also as attachments to this webinar. And of course, you're always welcome to contact us directly with any questions that you might have after closing this webinar. The webinar itself will be available on demand, so if you want to go back and review or refer a colleague, it will be available on our website, so you can go back to it. Also, please let us know what you think about the webinar by using the rating function. With that, I will just want to thank you a lot for joining us today. And thank you, Helen, for taking us through the presentation today. And have a good rest of the day. Thank you.
Thanks, Karen. Thanks, everyone.